Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be tackling something I think we've all dealt with, the challenges of building a really solid sales team.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and today we're going to kind of go beyond the usual look at resumes and those quick kind of surface level interviews.
Yeah.
We're really going to dive into how AI and XR are really changing the game when it comes to sales recruitment.
It's exciting stuff.
It really is, and it's something that I think a lot of companies are starting to pay attention to. So the source material we're diving into today is a press release from EON Reality.
Okay.
And they are making some pretty big waves with their AI-powered XR platform, claiming that it can actually help predict sales performance.
Which, I mean, that's the dream,
That's
right?
the holy grail of hiring.
Yeah.
Yeah,
To be able to know, not just hope, you've made the right decision.
exactly. Now, the press release has a quote from EON Reality's chairman, Dan Lajerskar, and he's talking about how these traditional interviews, they just often miss the mark, and it leads to these costly hiring mistakes. It takes forever to onboard somebody. We've all been there, right?
So sure.
So how many times have we all seen, somebody absolutely kill it in an interview,
Right.
but then they get out there in the real world
Yeah.
and they can't close a deal to save their life?
Well, yeah, and I think that speaks to the limitations of just using a conversation as the primary way to judge sales skills.
Totally, yeah.
I mean, interviews, they can tell you about someone's personality and their communication style, but are they actually going to be able to perform under pressure? Can they handle those tough objections or build those strong relationships with clients?
You just never really know.
Right. You're making a lot of assumptions.
Yeah. So EON Reality is presenting this solution. That's where the XR comes in.
Mhm.
But for those of us maybe who haven't, you know, kept up with all the tech lingo, could you break down what XR actually is?
Sure. So XR stands for extended reality, and it's basically this blend of virtual reality, so your VR, and augmented reality. That's the AR.
Mhm.
And EON Reality's platform uses this XR to actually create these really immersive sales scenarios. So instead of just asking a candidate, okay, how would you handle an angry customer?
Right.
You can drop them into a virtual simulation of that very situation and see how they actually respond.
Whoa. So they're not just talking the talk, they are walking the walk.
Exactly.
Virtually speaking, of course.
Yes, virtually.
But that's amazing. I mean, I can already think of so many different scenarios that you could throw at them. Dealing with an angry customer, pitching a new product, negotiating a complex deal.
Yeah, the possibilities are kind of endless. And what's really cool is the platform doesn't just simulate the environment. It's designed to actually assess very specific sales skills, both what we call the hard skills, like your product knowledge, how well you can deliver a pitch, and then also the soft skills, like building rapport,
Yeah.
active listening, and adapting to all those different personality types that you're going to encounter out there.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because like you were saying, interviews, you can kind of get a feel for personality and communication style, but this is really digging into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, you're seeing it in action.
Yeah, it's almost like you're taking that typical role-playing exercise, but then you're giving it this really cool virtual twist. But what makes this AI-powered?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. The AI element means these scenarios, they're not just static.
Okay.
So let's say a candidate tries a certain closing technique, right? The AI is going to be able to analyze their approach, analyze the virtual customer's response, and actually adjust the scenario based on how that interaction went.
So it's like learning and adapting in real time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It creates all these different branching paths so that assessment is really personalized.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's about how each candidate performs.
Okay, so it's not just about following a script. It's about seeing how somebody thinks on their feet and how they adapt in real time. I mean, that's a total game changer.
It is. And the best part is that the AI is constantly learning, constantly refining how it responds. So the platform itself is always evolving.
Wow.
So it's becoming even more sophisticated, getting better at evaluating those really subtle nuances
Right.
that separate a good salesperson from a great one.
So this AI is almost like another, participant in the scenario.
Yeah, like a super smart silent partner.
Yeah, exactly. But, let's get practical here because the press release mentions something about a scoring system,
Yeah.
something crazy like 7,500 points.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit like a video game, doesn't it?
Right.
But all those points, they're actually representing this really detailed breakdown of how the candidate performed across all those core sales skills we were talking about.
Okay.
So it's not just a pass or fail, you know?
Gotcha.
It's really giving you a nuanced look at where are their strengths, where are their weaknesses, what do they need to work on?
So instead of just going with my gut, which we've all probably done, I can actually get some hard data.
You got it, and it's all standardized.
Okay.
So you're comparing these candidates on an even playing field.
That makes a lot of sense.
You're taking out the subjectivity, any unconscious bias.
Right.
It's just the facts.
Yeah. It's not just about finding someone who can, talk a good game in an interview.
Right.
It's about finding those people who have the skills
Yeah.
to back up, the skills to actually get out there and deliver those results.
And think about all the time you save
Boy,
and all the resources.
you're not wasting time.
Exactly. You're not wasting time on candidates that just aren't a good fit.
Yeah.
You can really focus your energy
Right.
on those who have shown you, hey, I've got the potential
They can actually do this.
to thrive in your specific sales environment.
And that's a big deal
Yeah.
because I think, hiring the wrong person, that can really set a team back.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So one of the things that really stood out to me about this press release is that EON Reality, they're not some brand new startup.
Yeah,
They've got some serious experience under their belt. I mean, they've worked with major institutions, companies all over the world.
Exactly. So this platform, it's built on a foundation of real expertise in both AI and XR.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got over 80 global locations that are using their tech.
Wow.
And they've developed this compatibility across more than 30 different devices.
That's pretty impressive.
So it's really showing that this is a company that's serious about innovation and accessibility as well.
Now, the press release also really emphasizes that this platform is customizable.
Right.
Right. So companies can actually tailor those scenarios
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
to match their own specific sales processes, their target markets, all that good stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, this platform, it's not just about hiring salespeople,
Right.
It's about building a team,
Yeah.
a really high-performing team.
That works.
And it's a tool that can be adapted to a whole range of different industries and sales roles. So it's really valuable for anyone who's trying to make smarter talent decisions.
Which kind of brings us back to that quote from Dan Lejerskar, about making smarter hiring decisions, reducing risk.
Right.
And, after hearing all this, I think he might be onto something pretty big here.
I think so too. And it's not just about minimizing risk, right? It's also about maximizing your potential. Just imagine how much better employee retention could be, if you had the right people from day one.
Yeah, because then they're happy, they're performing well, they're probably going to stick around longer.
Exactly.
So it's a win-win. It's like a ripple effect, right?
For sure.
Yeah. This is all starting to sound pretty revolutionary. And it's making me wonder, could this AI-powered approach, could it go beyond just sales? What other fields or industries could benefit from this kind of immersive, data-driven assessment?
Oh, that's a great question. And I think we're already seeing AI and XR, making inroads into things like training and education. So it's not a huge leap to imagine how these technologies could really revolutionize the way we evaluate skills and potential across a whole bunch of different professions.
That's a really good point. So, okay, let's take a step back for a second. Let's recap what we've kind of learned so far from this deep dive.
Yeah.
So first, we talked about how traditional interviews, while useful for some things, they're just not really cutting it when it comes to predicting sales performance.
Right. They've got their limitations.
Right. And that can lead to some pretty expensive hiring mistakes.
Definitely.
But EON Reality, they're coming in with this really cool AI-powered XR solution.
Yeah, it's very innovative.
Yeah, and it's actually creating these realistic sales scenarios. So candidates aren't just talking about their skills.
Right.
They're actually demonstrating them.
In action.
In a virtual environment. And we talked about how the AI element means that these scenarios can adapt, right?
Yeah.
They're providing truly customized, very nuanced assessments. We're talking about objective data. We're talking about standardized scoring and getting these insights into both hard and soft skills. And all of that should translate into much more informed hiring decisions, reduced risk, and ultimately the ability to build those high-performing sales teams that everyone's looking for.
Yeah, it's all about finding the best fit for the role.
Exactly. And all of this is rooted in EON Reality's proven track record and expertise in both AI and XR.
Absolutely. They've got the experience and the technology to back it up.
They do. So as we kind of start wrapping up this deep dive, I've got one final thought-provoking question for everyone listening. What are some specific ways that this kind of immersive assessment could be applied to other industries, other roles?
Ooh, that's a good one.
And could this be the key to unlocking a new era of hiring?
It's definitely worth thinking about.
It is. It's like we're finally moving away from those old school methods.
Yeah, those gut feeling decisions.
Yeah, where you kind of cross your fingers and hope for the best.
And I hope it works out. Right.
Right. Exactly.
It-
But, what's really cool about all this is that it's not just about the companies who are doing the hiring.
No, not all.
It
Yeah.
actually makes the experience better for the candidates, too.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about it from their perspective. Instead of going into another interview and getting grilled with the same old questions,
Right.
they get to actually show what they can do
Right. They get to demonstrate their skills.
in a fun, interactive environment.
It's almost like a game.
It is, yeah. It's engaging.
Yeah. It's way more engaging.
And even if they don't end up getting the job,
Yeah.
they walk away with really valuable feedback.
Right, because you're getting that data. Right.
Exactly. They know where their strengths are, where they might need to improve. It's
Yeah.
a learning experience.
Yeah. It's almost like leveling up in a video game.
I love that analogy.
Yeah. Even if you don't, win every round, you're gaining experience. You're getting better.
Exactly. And it highlights something else I think is really important, this idea of democratizing opportunity.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Traditional hiring, it often favors people who are really good at selling themselves.
Right. Yeah.
Or maybe they come from a certain background.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just who you know.
Right, exactly. But with this focus on skills that you can actually see,
Yeah.
we can level the playing field.
It's all about, can you actually do the job,
Exactly.
not just talk about it.
And that's powerful.
It is. Yeah. So we're not just talking about making hiring more efficient.
No,
We're talking about creating a fairer system.
absolutely. A more inclusive system.
So, okay, we've explored the problem. We've dove into EON Reality's solution.
Yeah,
And we've even talked about what this means for the future of hiring.
it's a big shift.
It is. But before we wrap up, I want to make sure that our listeners are walking away, with some things to think about.
Yeah, some takeaways.
Yeah. So let's recap one more time.
Okay, sounds good.
First, traditional interviews.
Mm-hmm.
Not always the best predictor of success,
Oh, nope.
and that can lead to those costly hiring mistakes. But companies like EON Reality are coming up with these new solutions,
Very cool solution.
very cool solutions that use AI and XR to create these realistic simulations.
Dynamic simulation.
Batting simulations, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. And these simulations, they can actually adapt to what the candidate's doing. So we get those personalized insights.
Yeah, you're getting a much clearer picture of their abilities.
Exactly.
Mm.
And it's not just for sales. We talk about customer service, leadership, even technical roles.
Any role where skills are key.
It's really about moving beyond just words on a resume.
Right. Showing, not just telling.
Showing, not telling. That's a good way to put it. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I have one final question for everybody listening out there. How could you use these ideas
Yeah.
in your own work,
In your own company.
in your own field, and could this be how we build those amazing teams, those high-performing teams that everyone's looking for?
It's a really exciting time to be in the talent space, that's for sure.
It is.
Yeah.
And on that note, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.